from other golden retrievers. That's what purebred means. And that's called a pedigree, those papers that tell sort of the background of that dog. So it comes from this word, pedigree. And a pedigree, basically, we are going to use symbols to represent people. Okay, we use squares to represent males, and we use circles to represent females. You know, if you need help remembering, females produce eggs, and eggs are round. If that helps. And so when we draw a pedigree diagram, we can show how people are, but we also can show which people in the family have a certain trait, have a certain characteristic. And if they do have the trait, we shade in their circle or their square. That's what a shaded in symbol means. It means they have whatever trait we're talking about. You know, we could use it to talk about color blindness or blue eyes or Huntington's disease. We can use it basically to talk about whatever trait we're interested in studying.
Wait, yeah, what's Huntington's?
It's a genetic disorder. Danielle?
How do you get colorblind?
You inherit it usually from your parents.
What if you just start being colorblind?
So
what is
we also connect shapes in certain ways. So when two shapes get connected in this way, from side to side, raise your hand if you want to take a guess. What does that indicate? If the shapes are connected like this, a square and a circle. Holly?
Parents of children.
Yeah, they're parents of children. They're married or that they had children, not necessarily married. Where do you think their children go on the diagram?
Underneath them.
Below them, yep. Well, this is a little different, this one on the right. What do you think this represents in a pedigree diagram? Tommy?
They had a child.
Well, not quite. Daniel?
They're brother and sister.
Yeah, these two are brother and sister. They get connected up and over. Who do you think is going to be placed up here? Tommy? Yeah, the parents go on top, yep. So that represents sibling. All right, so that's the basics. That's all you need to know. And I have a whole bunch of examples to help you understand this. So let's say I have a family, and we're talking in this pedigree about color blindness. Okay, so that's the trait we want to study. So a man that is colorblind marries a woman that is not colorblind. All right, well, let's start with the man. What kind of symbol should I use for this man that is colorblind? Daniel?
Would be square.
Yeah, what about the square?
It should be shaded in.
Yes. It's got to be shaded in because he does have color blindness. And that's the trait we are studying, the characteristic. Okay, and he's going to marry a woman that is not colorblind. Danielle, what do you think symbol she should get? Yeah, a plain circle. Now, since they're married, how do I connect them?
With the line.
Side to side.
Does it have to be like legally married?
No, it's if they had children
They had
together.
children?
Yes. All right. Now they have a boy who is colored. So they have children. 3 children. So where are their children going to go? Below them. So I'll draw a line down and a spot for each of their children. There's 3 of them. Okay, they have a boy who is colorblind. What symbol will this boy get? Kristen?
Shaded in square.
Shaded in square. There are 2 girls that are not colorblind. Brianna? Yes, a circle for each of them that's not shaded. And then my pedigree is complete. I have 2 generations of families, of this family, shown in my pedigree.
Could you make one like all the way back to like your great?
You could go as far as you have the information, yep. Now, let's just talk for a minute, this is kind of an aside, about color blindness. So people are often confused about color blindness. It doesn't mean that a person sees everything black and white. That's sometimes what people think colorblind means. You don't see any colors. there is that does happen once in a while, but that's pretty rare. But what's more common is other types of color blindness, like red-green color blindness. In our eyes, we have two types of cells that allow us to see. They're called cones and rods. Cones are the cells that are sensitive to color. Rods are sensitive to the intensity of light. And sometimes a person can be born with the cones not functioning properly. So for example, some people have difficulty distinguishing orange from blue colors. They see them as the same color. And so the test they use, maybe you've had a test for color blindness. If you go to the eye doctor, they may have shown you this. It looks like things like this. It's a pattern of circles, and there's usually a number that's written in different colored circles. Now, can everybody see the number?
Yeah.
But if you had this orange and blue color blindness, the orange and blue circles would look the same to you. So you would see that, and you wouldn't see any number there.
Just see a blob.
Yeah, you would just see a whole bunch of circles. And so if the doctor showed you this, and you didn't see any number, that would probably be an indication you may have some form of color blindness. I'll show you some other examples. All right, so here's what some of these various types of color blindness, what a set of colored pencils might look like with different types of color blindness. You can see, depending on the type, you can't distinguish reds, some from yellows, or so forth. So there's different types of color blindness. And these tests are a test for different versions of color blindness. Now, I will tell you this. Don't freak out if you can't see some of these. They don't reproduce that well on the overhead. They're clear on my screen, and they're clear when it's like a printed thing. But here are some examples, and I'll tell you what they should be. All right, so what's this first one?
Alright.
Yeah, that's 10. How about the next one?
42.
Yeah. Yeah, now this one is like a double. 57 is in red, but there's also in like a lighter color green, 35 is written, but it's hard to see on from your viewpoint. This next one? 6. Yep.
2.
This is another double. This could be a 2, or depending on what colors you're looking at, it can be also a 5, and that's an 8. Now, an interesting thing about color blindness is called a sex-linked trait. And usually sex-linked traits are more common in males than they are in females. And sex-linked traits, like some types of color blindness, are genes that are carried on the X chromosome. And color blindness is a recessive trait. So if you think about what that means, so females have how many X chromosomes? 2. How many do males have? 1. So if color blindness is recessive, how many genes does a woman have to get to show color blindness? They're carried on the X chromosome. So does both of her X chromosomes have to carry the recessive gene, right? Because if she has a normal gene and a colorblind gene, which is going to show through? The normal, because that's dominant. But for a man, how many? They only have 1 X chromosome. So if they get one of the recessive genes for color blindness, are they going to have it? Yeah. Because they're more likely to get it.
Because it would be
Because they only need 1 of those genes to get it. Females need to get 2 of those genes to be colorblind.
I think that people with red hair are like more common to be colorblind. Is that true?
Not sure. It could be true. And again, sometimes there are those things where a person with one trait is more likely to have another, because sometimes the genes for those traits are in the same chromosome. So if you happen to get the gene for red hair on that same chromosome, may be where the gene for color blindness is. All right, so let's go back here to our examples. Now, I know I have like 8 examples or so. we don't necessarily have to do all of them if you get it and you can do it pretty well. Okay? So let's do another one here. Why don't you guys do this one on your own? I'll go through it with you in a minute. But for right now, you draw this pedigree based on the information given in the diagram. We're going to go over it. All right, so let's go through this step at a time. Couple has 4 children. All right, now we're talking about a new trait. It's not color blindness now. We're talking about a widow's peak. So the mother has a widow's peak. Olivia, what kind of symbol should she get?
A shaded circle.
A shaded circle, good. Then there's a father that does not have the widow's peak. Nick, what symbol should he get?
A square.
Yeah. Yeah, a plain square.
So basic.
Yep. All right. Now they have children. They have 2 female children with it and 2 that do not have it. One's a boy, one's a girl. So how many children total, Farhan?
4.
4. We're going to have a space for them all. All right, 2 female children with a widow's peak. What symbol should they get? You all answered one already. Ava, 2 female children with a widow's peak.
I'll color it in first circle.
Yeah, 2 shaded circles. Those are the girls with the widow's peak. Then there's a boy without and a girl without. What does the boy without it get, Nate? And a girl without it, CJ?
Circle.
Good. A plain circle and a plain square. All right? Is this clear? Do I need to do the other several examples? That one? All right. Well, anyway. All right. But here's what I want you to do then. Flip over your packet to the very back. It should be blank.
Mine has colors.
Like this. Very end.
The back of your packet should be blank. All right, because I'm going to give you a challenging one now.
Oh, yay. I'm so excited.
We'll see if you really understand this. All right.